Hello and welcome to the Bond Revisited podcast with me, Tom.
And me, Joe.
After watching and ranking every James Bond film, we're now keeping up with all the latest Bond news, hoping one day that we'll see the return of Sweaty Sean. I think we technically did do that in 2025, didn't we? Does 4K Blu-rays count as the return of Sweaty Sean?
I forgot that this was our intro now.
What do you mean?
Sean.
We've done this intro many times.
Yeah.
We've used it for the whole year. How could you forget?
But you're right. No, you can now see Sean's beads of sweat in higher clarity than ever.
Yeah, with the correct color grading and, you know, how it was supposed to look, enhanced, zoomed in. We actually did already do that. So I guess for 2026, I'll have to come up with another new intro for this.
Yeah, something to do with Roger Moore, I hope. Maybe something to do with his mole.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
See the return of the mole.
Return of the mole.
This podcast is dedicated to Roger Moore's mole. Rest in peace.
View to a Kill just wasn't the same without it.
No. Well, I like that film, and you like that film. We're defenders.
I love that film
here.
Well, this episode's gone off to a smashing start, I have to say.
I think I would absolutely agree.
Instantly distracted. Sorry, that's my fault.
But what are we meant to be doing here?
Well, I thought you suggested that we kind of end off the year with a Bond 26 recap. We've not been doing consistent episodes this year, and there's been a lot of Bond news scattered throughout it, which we've not really addressed in these podcasts. So we're going to round off the year just talking about some of the news that occurred and our thoughts on it. Maybe a little bit about the Bond game, First Light, later on as well, and a few predictions or wish lists for Bond 26.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit strange for a Bond podcast to go a whole year without talking about the new Bond film when there's been news about it for the entire year. So we have I guess we did the Amazon stuff, but even then that was early days. We just kind of like went into hiding for a little bit. So I guess now this is a chance to like check in, because I think in terms of how we're feeling, and I guess how a lot of Bond fans are feeling, right? Like, it's been a very packed year. It's been a very, like, stuff is actually happening, and it's been happening all year. So I guess the end of this year is a good kind of ending point of, like, a reflection point to sit down and be like, okay, how are we actually feeling about this? What has happened? And are people excited? Are people not that excited? Are people just too numb to how horrible the world is to care anymore? Or somewhere in between? Hopefully.
Or maybe that makes them lean into it more as an, escapism from the horrible world and into the world of Bond.
I hope so. I mean, I guess that's what Bond is to a certain extent.
Yeah. I do think as well, yes, there's been a lot of news throughout the year, but a lot of it has been quite small news that a dedicated James Bond community or channel or podcast, whatever, might really rinse for talking points. To be honest, I don't think I would be able to say much about some of the things individually. So I think it's good that we're kind of doing this in one big blob at the end. And even then, I'm going to be... it's questionable how much I'm actually going to have to say about some of the Bond news. But I guess we'll see when we get into it.
Yeah, I think this is more... Yeah, a recap, I think, is probably fair enough. Because, I kind of agree. It's like, we do live in a world where every little bit of news is going to be enhanced. Because, as you say, there are dedicated channels. And also there's like a pent-up thing of like, oh, we really want to know about this stuff. But yeah, as you say, because social media is the way it is, something can't just be like, oh, that's an interesting small tidbit. It has to be like, dude, this changes everything, big analysis, all that stuff. And just like, I don't know, I'm kind of burnt out from all of it. So yeah, I kind of agree. It's like, it's nice to just kind of let's do it as one. Because yeah, you just get burnt out from just like, oh, all the time. Sometimes you just got to raw dog it, you know?
Raw dog? What?
Huh?
6-7? What's going on? Are we just saying things now?
You never raw dogged a flight? Is that what you're saying?
No, in fact, my last flight, I was all James Bond. I watched...
Well, that's even better.
2.5 James Bond films on the flight, so I did the opposite of raw dogging. I Roger Moore dogged.
Oh, God. Why does that sound dirtier? I don't know why that sounds...
I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm going to bring in more dogging.
Oh God! What were the films, if I can ask?
Of course, you mate. Yeah, they were. It was Moonraker. It was
Yeah, because when you're on a plane, why wouldn't you watch a film where someone falls from a plane for the whole beginning of it?
I actually did think that, whether they would cut that out, because they do that with some films, don't they, where they get rid of a plane crash in there, or they censor it in some way if it's a flight movie. No, it was all good. It was out there.
I mean,
with
that
Jaws.
would be weird if they cut it out, though. If you started watching Moonraker on a plane and it just started with Jaws falling in a circus, you'd be like, hold on. I think I'm missing a little something here.
A little bit. Yeah, that You Only Live Twice. And I started to watch GoldenEye before we landed. So.
Oh, You Only Live Twice. That's an interesting one to pick.
Yeah, well, having recently come back from a trip to Japan, I wanted to revisit that film and just kind of, I don't know, get back into that culture a bit again. And yeah, it's all right. It's still not great, but it's fine. It's a fine film.
I quite like it. It's an important one.
It is an important one.
We can agree on that.
That's true.
Yeah. Before we go into Bond 26, I want to carry on with this because, like, I can't remember the last time. No, the last Bond film I watched was GoldenEye for the 30th anniversary.
Of course, yeah.
Well, I can't remember if I talked about this on the last episode, but yeah, 30th anniversary. So it was showing in the cinema. So I went to the local cinema and got to watch it on the big screen for the first time. And it was amazing. I had a really good time. Cemented my placement of it as my number 2. Obviously, there's still some odd choices in that film. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I don't know. I think some of this is nostalgia, but those iconic moments, just the beginning scene with Ourumov, man, he is so good. He's like a top 5 Bond character, Ourumov, in my eyes. Everything he says is just gold. And just seeing it on the big screen, I was like, yeah, he can't win. It was great.
No, you bought me the rather lovely and collector's item of the Elliot Carver doll.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can see it right now on my shelf, just looking ahead of me.
Staring.
Is there an Ourumov?
If there is, and he has, like, pull the cord, like Woody from Toy Story, and he says things, you just put it, it's like, you can't win. I'll be like, brilliant. Yes, please. I would definitely have that and put it on my shelf.
Right. Well, if it doesn't exist, then we need to get someone to make it, because that sounds great.
Yeah, nowadays you could definitely, there will be someone out there who will make it for me, I think.
Yeah.
Whether we're willing to pay for that is another question.
Somewhere on Etsy.
I would very much love that.
That will exist.
Yeah, somewhere. Right. Bond 26. Joe, how did this all start this year?
Well, yeah, so the last episode we had about the movies was back in February, and at that time, the big hubbub was about Amazon gaining ownership of the Bond franchise from the Broccolis and Michael G. Wilson. So kind of not long after that, I can't remember the exact date for that, because we weren't quite on the ball with that episode, but it was sometime in early February, I think. The next bit of news that we had, kind of that big news that would have been on BBC and all the kind of headlines like that, was 25th of March, and that was about announcing the producers for the Bond movie. So we haven't quite got to the director and the scriptwriter, but we've got the producers, which were Amy Pascal and David Heyman. Some very recognisable names there. Amy Pascal was involved in Sony quite a lot, I think, and David Heyman's done a lot of stuff, most famously probably the Harry Potter series, and more recently things like the Paddington trilogy as well.
Yes, I think there was very obvious links, wasn't there? Like, you could tell even from this starting point that they wanted the names that made the most sense, which is funny because that's not always the way it goes. Like when Sam Mendes was made the director of Skyfall, you're like, what, the American Beauty guy? What? But it worked really well. But I feel like these choices with Amazon, and I guess we'll get onto the director and writer, even as early as these producers, it was like, right, we need those very obvious direct links, which I think could work really well. But also, none of us know how this creative process works. It's not always the most obvious people. But these were very much like, yeah, Sony, who were involved with Bond, and like very British heritage stuff. So I think they were good choices. But yeah, this was like, for me anyway, the beginning of, okay, we need these names that make the most sense. So when they announced, they were like, oh yeah, totally. There's like a real logic to having these people on board.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we ended off that episode in February talking about how which way it could go, and will we look back on that and think we were stupid, and I'm pretty sure we said something along the lines of, or at least I did, about how Amazon are most likely going to play it incredibly safe. They've got the money to play it safe. They want to get the traction going with whatever they're going to make first, and then go from there. And those two as producers are very, I don't know, maybe obvious choices, maybe not obvious, but very safe choices, I think, and kind of indicate that Amazon are they're not risking anything with this. They're going to go pretty down the line of what people would say or predict with people.
Yeah, and like the logic was obvious why they were the choices, which was interesting. And I think that was something that was interesting throughout this year as well, where it was, I think there was a lot of anti-Amazon stuff at the beginning of the year. And I'm not saying everyone's going to like, oh, Amazon's my best friend or anything, but I felt anyway, a shift where it was Amazon was announced, Jeff Bezos is evil, which, yeah, fair enough. When is the Money Penny spin-off happening? Oh God, they're going to milk it, which I am so glad we're over that conversation.
Yeah.
That was so like just exhausting. Just like, guys, they've only just announced it. Please stop talking about how they're definitely going to do a Money Penny spin-off. But I think with the announcement of these producers, that was like the beginning of the shift, where everyone was kind of moving away from that, and just a lot of stuff was coming out about it. And this was the beginning of just like, okay, no, it seems like it's coming together, and just having more faith, because they were going for these, yeah, again, I think safe probably isn't quite the right word, but these very on the nose like kind of choices. And I think with the producers, that was like the start of that shift for the fan base.
Yeah, I would agree, especially with some of the later things that were announced. A lot of people now saying, "Oh, okay, no, that's Amazon have impressed me by these choices, or yeah, give me some something to feel assured of." But also, I think I don't really know as much about Amy Pascal, to be honest with you. I know that was it the Spider-Man films that she was involved in, the animated ones, like. What are they called now? I can't even remember.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse ones. Yeah, I think so. Because, well, Spectre was involved with, Spectre was Sony as well, because that's where all those leaks came from. So I think she might have been involved in that, but I'm going to Google it just to be safe.
Okay, well, whilst you do that, I'll just mention, so yeah, David Heyman, I saw him quite a lot on the making of Harry Potter documentaries on the home media stuff, and I think the thing you can say a lot of stuff about, and we're not here to talk about Harry Potter as the film franchise of it, but one thing you can say is that they were all released timely and on budget, and they seem to be produced very well. Whether they were good movies or not, that's a different question, and I don't know that much about movie production, of course, but from an outside perspective, it seems like he's very good at his job of producing movies and doing them well. And I don't know if he's going to stick around for whatever Amazon do in the future with more Bond films, but it would make sense if they've got someone like him who has that track record, and the Paddington films as well. It makes sense for them to keep someone like that on and hopefully steer the series in a direction. At least I guess so.
That's what you want. Yeah, that's what you want as a out of a producer like that, don't you? Really, right? It's about franchise management and satisfying the fans of an ongoing brand. And I think that's what these producers kind of bring. Now, I say that the first film she seemed to have produced, Amy Pascal, is the Ghostbusters reboot. Famously didn't go down well, but again, she then took over Spider-Man, and that did a lot better. And Venom, I guess, just quite a few different things. So not an amazing list, but again, I think it is from those people. It's franchise management. It's, are you able to consistently deliver films that the fans are broadly happy with? And I feel like, yeah, these two as a group kind of make a lot of sense for that.
Yeah, and I think for me at the moment, that is the most important thing, which even more important than the quality of the films, which maybe that sounds bad, but I'm so, and we'll talk a little bit more about timelines and how long this is going to take later on, I suppose, but I'm sick of there being 6, 7, 8 year gaps with some of these films now. And I just have to hope that with people like those now, those people at the helms of production, it will be a bit smoother and a bit more consistent. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I think we might have talked about this before, where it's just like there's a lot of core qualities about Bond, but one of those is the consistency. So like if you fail that, you're almost like just failing the franchise to a certain extent, because part of it is the fact that it's always coming out. which again is not always a good thing. And, logically speaking, you would always take a better film that takes longer than a rushed out bad film. But it's just such a core quality of that franchise that the franchise makes less sense when you don't do it. So again, I don't want bad rush films, but I think you're missing something with Bond if you're only making one every 5 years. That's kind of not Bond in a weird way.
Yeah, and also you're not getting a new audience if it's at that sort of release pattern. I mean, everyone who's a Bond fan at the moment, obviously this is a very broad generalization, but they're probably going to be, everyone is probably going to be of a certain generation and not below, I wouldn't say there's many young Bond fans at the moment, because why would there be, really? There might be some things, but I think you need, or at least the reason why it's gone on for so long, is because every generation has the Bond that they grew up with. And if you don't have that, if you don't have these consistent films, then you're not going to have those sort of fans. And then, well, I don't know how it would turn out, but slowly die, I would imagine. So, yeah, they just, you're right. I think it is a part of Bond, and the reason why it has such a legacy is that it has been a consistent part of cinema. And you can't just keep having these 10-year-long gaps. Barbara.
Naming no names. Speaking of naming names, the next piece of news was a pretty big one. That's how I remember it, Joe.
Yes, that's right. We're going to move on to the 26th of June, which was the announcement of the director of the upcoming...
Did you say June or Dune?
Oh, I said June. All right.
Oh, sorry. No, I misheard. Audio issues, I guess.
Yes. So lots of directors obviously not contested, but people wanted a lot of different directors. Lots of names that come up for these sort of things. Edgar Wright, Christopher Nolan's always the big one. I guess Danny Boyle was meant to do No Time to Die as well, but it was. Now I need to try and pick a pronunciation and stick with it. So I'm going to go with Denis Villeneuve.
That sounds fine to me. I don't feel qualified enough to argue. I'll just go DV, and that's a bit of fun in it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go Denis because I like that.
Denis.
Yes, Denis Villeneuve is the new director. So the little thing that they kind of gave, a little quote from him when they announced this was, "Some of my earliest movie-going memories are connected to 007. I grew up watching James Bond films with my father ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery. I'm a die-hard Bond fan. To me, he's sacred territory. I intend to honour the tradition and open the path for many new missions to come. This is a massive responsibility, but also incredibly exciting for me and a huge honour." So lots of things in there to, I guess, extrapolate. But I suppose on the face of it...
First of all, he was born in 1967, so he's a liar. He did not see... Yeah, he was born after Dr. No came out, so that's outrageous.
And also, what? So he was like a baby watching.
Well, I guess so. I'm assuming he's saying he's liked it since the original, but he also said, I guess his dad showed him Dr. No. But again, that feels like an odd thing to say, right? Like if I said, because my dad showed me like GoldenEye and stuff, and me and you, we both grew up with Pierce Brosnan. I wouldn't say I grew up watching James Bond films ever since Dr. No.
Yeah, true, true.
That's not what happened.
You might say,
yes, I've seen them. You would say ever since I remember watching GoldenEye as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, not a great start then.
So he's a fake fan.
Fake fan.
Yep.
But his name was definitely one of the ones that was in the buzz about who could be an upcoming director, because it's kind of I don't know much about him, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen a vast majority of his movies, but his recent track record for films have been very good, and I think that's why people have thought he would be a good contender. So, obviously, some of the films, obviously the Dune trilogy soon to be next year, that Tom mentioned, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, going backwards, and Sicario. All, I think, very well received. I've only seen Arrival out of all of them, so don't have a lot to say about his directing style, but I did enjoy Arrival, even if it was a sci-fi film, and I can't really transition that to what a Bond film would be like under him necessarily.
Well, you're going to get a lot of big sweeping shots. I guess I can promise that. because he makes very, those big landscapes. And even like in Dune 2, there's this amazing scene when it's this black and white Colosseum. And just the scope of these things, it's so good. So whatever it's going to be visually amazing. Almost reminds me a little bit, or makes me think about Skyfall, where Skyfall, there was a real effort to make it visually stand out and interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Especially with like Shanghai, right? That really stands out with all these different colors and stuff. So I feel like old DV is probably going to come along and do a lot of that. But yeah, again, every film I've seen, I've liked, and I think that's what you can really ask for from a director. I mean, we can go into like, is he the right fit or stuff, but I'm just like, he knows how to make good films. And even though he's clearly never seen never seen Dr. No, because he's lying, I think he is a safe pair of hands because he just makes good films. It's like, cool. All right, you got someone who makes good films. I like good films. Let him get on with it.
Yeah, and something I was thinking about with this as well is I can't say I've really, apart from the most recent Daniel Craig films, I've never been one, also because I was too young, but I've never been one to dissect the director of the Bond film and think, are they actually a good fit? No one, I didn't think about that when I was watching Die Another Day or anything retroactively. It's just whoever makes it, makes it. The only thing that stood out to me is that, he's very much, at least recently, is sci-fi. I think Sicario is more of a just thriller, right? But
yeah, more of an action sort of thing.
But very sci-fi. So I did wonder, like, I wonder what that means. But I guess when you're saying broad, like huge, sweeping vistas and big blockbuster visuals to it, that does bode well, I would say. I hope it's a bit more. The other thing as well is, and I put here in my notes because I was reading the quote obviously, but I also put in my notes here: will the film, film or films, depending on how many he does, will they be mopey? So Tom, having watched his films, well, the reason I say that is because we've just come from Daniel Craig. Great films, a lot of them, but you can't argue that they were definitely not in the same style as the older films when it comes to maybe the lightheartedness that they had, or a little bit of like comic relief, or just something that's not completely dreary. Because a lot of the Craig films are quite dreary. And that's the impression I get from sci-fi films, is that often they are quite bleak. So I just wonder whether he'll be able to have kind of inject that side of Bond that I think a lot of people want now. They want a bit more of a throwback to Pierce Brosnan and Roger Moore. That's my only worry.
I guess so. Daniel Craig was weird though, right? Because Casino Royale, was just trying to reset things. Quantum of Solace was rushed. Skyfall then tried to bring that stuff back in. And then Spectre also kept it up, where he was like, take that awful cocktail or that drink and flush it down the toilet. You hippie. That's classic.
That was a great scene. Yeah.
So whenever they try to put humor in it, they just kind of didn't do a very good job, but it wasn't terrible. So I don't know. I don't think it'll be mopey, but I definitely I think his films very much try and have like big grand themes in them. Like Arrival is, I guess, about, from what I remember, it's been a long time. I think that film ends, spoilers for the Arrival, I guess, with her seeing the future and it all being laid out for her thanks to the aliens, and her choosing to go along with it anyway and being happy about it. So I guess it's a sense of acceptance of your fates. Again, it's been too long. Then Blade Runner, well, that's a whole thing. Philosophically speaking, that's a whole bloody big thing. And then the Dune series is about space Jesus. So, in terms of just, these big themes about, people and their place in the universe and stuff, it feels like that's pretty common. I don't think he'll go as far with it here, but I think there probably will be some sort of, if he continues on the trend, some sort of examination of Bond's place in the world and what that means and his purpose. But I don't know if that will come out as mopey, because again, I think he'll want to go the action route, but I think there probably will be a little bit more of that, which will be similar to Daniel Craig, but just probably coming at it from a different angle, just to make the film feel a bit more weighty. But again, I think there's such a need or there's such a drive from Amazon and everyone to make it feel like proper Bond. But yeah, they'll get some humor in there. They'll get some of the classic elements in there.
I hope
so. I think it'll be a mix, but I think there'll be it'll be similar to Daniel Craig about that purpose and that examination, but just from a kind of a different angle and approach, and probably one that will be in some ways feel a lot bigger and grander, but also try and keep those older elements, is my guess, in 2025 anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that, I guess. It's just I hope that if they do have that idea of a grander meaning or message within the story, and not just here's your mission, Bond, and then go defeat the bad guy. If it's not that, which would stand out now because it hasn't been that for a long time, but if it's going to be more like Craig, then I do hope that they maybe don't go down the what is Bond's place in the modern espionage world, because I'm just sick of that. I'm just sick of it. I'm sure there's room to do something different that still has something of a nice ending and message to it, but I really hope they don't fall down that hole again.
Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah, it could be anyway. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it based on what he's done before. In terms of what they'll actually do, I don't know. I think it will just feel bigger in scale due to what it is. But yeah, I'm not. I think with Daniel Craig, we were kind of being dragged along this long, ongoing story, and there was a lot of like, what's going to happen and how are they going to develop Bond? Like, they knocked it all down and they're rebuilding it. So we were along for this journey, but it was a journey that just never really, we're not going to go over it again, but it wasn't fully planned out. It was a bit sloppy in some ways. They jumped around a little bit. There wasn't really that payoff. I like No Time to Die, but as a payoff for everything, it didn't quite fit or make sense. So I don't really want to be dragged for a ride again. You know, we are in a post Marvel or MCU driven cinema market, I guess. Although I'm not saying Marvel films are obviously still doing well, but again, we are over the hump, over the peak of people caring about that stuff and flocking out, which I think is probably where some of this Spectre stuff came from when you look at it. But really, I just want to go in and just see a well-made, put-together Bond film, which is why, GoldenEye is probably the template for this sort of stuff. But again, there's such a... I think Amazon will want... They might... If they try and make it an ongoing story, it's just so they can develop it as a franchise further. But again, I don't think anyone's looking for that. People just want to see a good Bond film.
Yeah.
So that's all you kind of need to do. I don't want an ending scene or like an extra end credits thing. Like GoldenEye very much for me is the template of how to do a reboot of Bond.
Well, you might be a bit disappointed then, because I did watch an interview with Denis Villeneuve, and he did say his favourite film is Octopussy.
What? Are you joking?
No.
You can't do that, Joe. That's messed up.
Okay, so he said that his favourite films were Casino Royale and Skyfall. So
sure, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense, really. And yeah, I suppose I was thinking about what would be a good... This is kind of maybe getting into too much nitty-gritty about what the story could be, but I was trying to think of a good example of a Bond film, which, like a previous Bond film, which had the usual beats of Bond gets assigned a mission, goes and eventually defeats the bad guy, but did have something more to it that could have been... It's still self-contained within one film, but I don't know, it had a slightly deeper message to it. And the one that actually comes to mind is something like The World Is Not Enough.
Because I was thinking World Is Not Enough, yeah, for sure.
Like, there's elements in there, and I'm sure we said this during our 10-hour review of it, but there was elements in there that were touching upon wider aspects to Bond's character and getting M involved as well. So if it's something like that, I would really like that. But it has to still be a one film thing, I think, for me. So yeah.
Again, there's so much you could do that you always need to bring it back anyway. The World Is Not Enough only worked because it was like the third one. If that was the first Pierce Brosnan film,
true, yeah,
you'd be like, wait a minute, a woman? What? A woman? So much. They had established itself. So yeah, again, something like that. But you do need to kind of consider it's going to be a new one. So I think what First Light is doing, I'm not super into in terms of reintroducing this stuff. So I'm not necessarily want to follow that template, but again, I guess there's just so many ways they can go. I just go back to I just want a solid Bond film. Is that too much to ask? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. We've been burnt before as James Bond fans, so But yeah, what I wanted to ask you was, when it comes to Villeneuve and the timing of things, so because you know more about the Dune franchise and you've watched the films, I haven't, but there is the third one coming out. Would you guess, or what do you think would be like his timeline for like when that will be done and he can actually focus on Bond? Because it's still happening, right? Dune 3.
Oh yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, it's coming out next year, right? It's coming out end of next year, December 18th. Is when it's coming out. So I would assume it's. Yeah, I guess maybe we need to save this for later for predictions and stuff like that. But again, I think he's going to be working on it next year for sure. Like, there's a lot more to kind of do. So I'd assume he would be working on it next year.
I suppose maybe the good thing that will come of that is that he will definitely be doing the whole media rounds for when that comes out, right? And people are going to be asking him about James Bond during the interviews. There's no doubt about it. So maybe we'll get some sprinkling of information through that as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I feel like he's just going to be a little bit honest with it. Like, he won't say anything like that he can't say. He'll just be like, yeah, we're starting this, or we're having a think about the story, or we're having a look at some actors. It'll be that sort of stuff. So I don't think maybe we'll get some stuff, but I think it'll be probably some like vague, but probably correct sort of things like that. Just like, yeah, we're doing this. Nothing to announce, but we're taking a look.
Yeah. I also put here in my little document for quotes. I thought, as I was doing a bit of research on this, given it is recently just been GoldenEye's 35th anniversary. 35th? Yeah.
30th.
30th, sorry.
95,
yeah. 30th anniversary. There was a interview with Martin Campbell in some newspaper, and they did ask him about his thoughts on the upcoming Bond film. And he's got a pretty good track record with his Bond films. If anything, they should have just got him back again. That would have been good. But here's what he said about the new James Bond film. He said, "Don't break what isn't broken. It doesn't need to be a reboot. It just needs to be a bloody good Bond film. If we release GoldenEye or Casino Royale again next week, they'd feel just as potent. So don't F with it, basically. There's a lot of fertile ground for Bond, particularly the way the world is at the moment. I just hope they don't break what's not broken." There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I said accidentally.
Martin?
It's me. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it, right? It just needs to be good, which is it's not simple. That is funny that he was just like, if we release the two films I made, everyone would still love them. It's like, all right, Martin. I mean, yes,
he's earned that though. He's earned that to say that. I
guess he has.
He's recovered the series twice. I think he can say what he wants now.
I guess so, but still, it's a little bit much. We'll see. But I think the thing I don't think he was really considered because of how old he is, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, true.
He's just far too old.
Yeah,
sadly.
Anyway, let's move on to the next bit of news that we had after director. We had on the 1st of August the screenwriter. So Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight will write the forthcoming James Bond film. That was what was announced. And this is similar to Denis Villeneuve, where I didn't really know much about their work. So Stephen Knight done things like creating Peaky Blinders, SAS Rogue Heroes, This Town, 1,000 Blows, which I had so many adverts for on Disney Plus, 1,000 Blows, and House of Guinness most recently. So definitely a theme amongst his more recent work with that style of TV. Are these all TV shows? I think they are. But yeah, what do you think about Stephen Knight?
I think this is when it really cemented for me that they were going for like a very, a very direct, who you would think would make sense for Bond is who they're hiring, which is totally fine. I think that's totally fine as a approach. But this really cemented it for me. Like, this was the third announcement in a row of a name where you look at their, what they've done, and you're like, oh no, yeah, British, very British focused, very experienced, very critically acclaimed, seems to know what they're doing. Okay, cool, brilliant, get on with it then. But again, I kind of go back to what you said earlier, where like before you just didn't care about this stuff. So I'm kind of moving towards that point where it's like, okay, what you are picking is very logical and sensible, great, but I almost kind of like want to disconnect from it at this point, because I just don't think it's something that you didn't used to care about. Like directors, to a certain extent, kind of, depending on who it was. But when they announced the director for No Time to Die, I wasn't like, whoa, that's crazy. It's like, okay, all right, cool. They got someone, great. So that's how I kind of feel about Stephen Knight. And I kind of at the point where it's just like, okay, you're making these very sensible choices. I don't know if they're the right choices, but I was just kind of willing to let them get on with it at that point, and just say, okay, cool, all right, nice, cool, off you go. Here we go. Like, just leave them to it. Yeah.
Yeah. They've got a good track record. What more can you ask for, I suppose, with all the things that they've Amazon have done so far with their choices. When this was announced, there was a quote from Stephen saying, "It's always been on my bucket list, and it's fantastic to be invited to do it. I can't wait to get started. I'm hoping that being a Bond fan for so many years, it will be imbued into me, and I will be able to produce something that's the same but different and better, stronger and bolder." Obviously a lot of fluff words there, but I guess the thing I take away from that is that there is the whole element of the same but different. So they're not going to try and reinvent the wheel when it comes to the script. And yeah, I think I'm kind of with you though. Like I would never have been that interested in this in the writers of a Bond film. That being said, I think for the Bond series, the writers were more stand out than other franchises just because it was the same people for so long. Purvis and Wade, I mean, they did it since The World Is Not Enough. And I guess there was maybe a slight thought about whether they'd come back, but I'm kind of glad that they're not. Not that they're necessarily bad. They wrote a lot of good Bond scripts in their time, but then also a lot of duds as well. And I also think it is just time for a complete kind of wipe the slate clean, really.
Well, I think you kind of summed it up a little bit for me there, where you were just like, yeah, they wrote some really good ones and some really bad ones. So it's like, well, then it's not the individual, is it? Like, with a lot of this stuff, in terms of the production of a film, we really like the idea that this one person comes in and is this creative, brilliant mind, and it all just comes from them, and they make this amazing film because of that. But the reality is, when you're spending hundreds of millions on films, and you have such like hundreds, I guess nowadays thousands of people working on film, it's nice to look at specific names and be like, oh, that's a good name. I think it'll be pretty good. But it just doesn't, directors, of course, they are important. But to a certain point, you just kind of have to like, yeah, there are people who are good at what they do who make bad films. And there are people who are kind of bad at what they did and probably made some good films or were involved in good films. And that's where it kind of gets that for me with Stephen Knight. Like, I feel like they mostly just did it because of Peaky Blinders, and I don't really care about Peaky Blinders. It's just, I watched like 4 episodes, and I just was like, this isn't for me. But again, that doesn't make me like discouraged from it, because it's such a big team of people. And when you get to the writer who has to like submit their scripts, who has to work with the director, they're going to have extra writers, I would assume, to punch this stuff up. It's going to go through all of this stuff. It's like, okay, cool, that's good, but how it feels like it's a name for a name's sake, which again is fine. I just can't get that fussed about this, and which is why I kind of said like, yeah, okay, this is all sounding good, just go get on with it then. That's kind of how I got to that point.
Well, you know what they say, there's no I in James Bond.
Yeah, I mean, there is an MI6 though.
There is a me in James Bond.
What, you?
Me.
Well, me?
Me.
Okay, so
we'll
get on with it then, Joe. Come on. God.
Oh, but yeah. If I wrote a James Bond film, I think I would kill the series. Anyway, one more thing to note about Stephen Knight. Whether this will play a role in how it turns out or not, I don't know. But he also co-created Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, that's a bit of fun.
So maybe there'll be a Ask the Audience section or something midway through.
God.
Everyone get out their little voters, the little buttons. And then that's kind of, I mean, I stopped with the news announcements there. That was in August. But since then, it's mainly been Bond actors since then. Who's going to be the new Bond and stuff like that, which is an eternal topic of discussion, and frankly quite a boring one, in all honesty. I don't have anything to say about the upcoming Bond actor. I will just say
I guess it's boring until we know, right?
Yeah,
like the speculation's kind of boring.
It's just a waste of time. The one thing I will say is that the most recent one, as of recording, because it seems to change every week, is Callum Turner is the one in the in the news. Is like the one that Denny is after. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, good luck to Denny, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, that's one until it's announced. Sure, like there's been so many names. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like we've had so many names even before this Amazon thing happened that it is just that side of it is also a little bit exhausting. Like it was really exciting to get this proper news, and I am glad we're in this sort of like, okay, things are now happening. But yeah, the actor ones, that's the stuff that the newspapers absolutely love. You can put pictures of these people, you can just speculate, you can just say whoever really, and just throw that name out there and people will talk about it. So yeah, until it's happening, once it happens, then I'll say it's terrible. I won't say it's terrible now.
That's fair. That's very reserved of you. Well done.
Thank you. It's called being objective and fair.
Yes. Unlike the vast majority of people on the internet.
So when are we getting this new film anyway, Joe?
Well, I consulted mi6hq.com for this because they had a good FAQ about what this might look like in terms of timelines. And they've said that, and obviously take this with a big pinch of salt, but realistically with the script lock-in in the autumn of next year, shooting could start as early as the end of 2026 or early 2027. And so the chances of the film is probably going to be 2028 or late 2027, but there is usually that window of time that Bond films are released in, around October, and whether they're going to keep to that, I don't know, or whether they want to change it to a summer blockbuster thing, potentially. But I would predict probably not until 2028, really.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, it's one of those where I guess we've got nothing official, right? But when you start to think about how could this fit in, I think for most of the year, there was this optimism that now that things are happening, it could be 2027, but as we've progressed, it's like, no. So yeah, I think, end of 2028, you know, I guess, that thing is saying summer. I think you're probably adding a few extra months. These things don't run on time. Like, come on, no. Everything gets delayed nowadays. So yeah, I would probably say, that summer 2028.
Which I'm not going to dwell on.
No, winter, sorry, I messed up.
That is a horrifically long amount of time between films once again, but that's fine. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just going to breathe. And this, if this takes a little while, because finding the right actor does, and kind of setting the wheels in motion for what these Amazon Bond films are going to be like, that's going to take some time to gain that momentum. And hopefully from that, it could work a bit faster. So maybe after 2028, it won't be another 7 years. It might be another 3 years or 2 years. I don't know, probably not 2. But yeah, I know that the nature of producing films is just so much larger and more expensive than it was back in the 70s and 80s. So it's not going to be every 2 years like it was. But if it can at least be not every 7 or 8 years, that would be grand, you know?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think 3 to 4 is fine. I would say that's fine. Because even then, like, if you go too long, you just age out. The Bond just gets too old.
Yeah, that's
kind
true.
of what happened with Daniel Craig, and I would argue Pierce Brosnan went through that really to a much smaller extent. But it's really difficult to play Bond, and they just get older. Like Die Another Day, Pierce was a little bit old, I would argue, for his type of Bond.
Yeah, probably. Pierce Brosnan's a weird one though, because he changed a lot even between GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, I think it was the hair.
It probably was the hair. They should have kept the longer hair for him. Anyway.
Yes. So we'll see. When that trailer comes out, I don't care about movie trailers anymore. But just one day on YouTube or whatever, there's gonna be that trailer, and it's gonna have the music, and it's gonna be like, I'll probably hate it, but for a moment I'll be like, oh my god, it's happening. And all you need to do is do the bow, bow, bow. That's all you need. And I'm like, yes.
The what?
Awesome.
What was that?
Like the beginning bit, the dun 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 dun, that bit.
I can't think of what that is. I'm sorry.
You know, like the beginning of the theme. It's like the slow kick in. Like I think Skyfall at the end has it. It's like, come on, Bond, lots to do, and then the Bond theme starts playing, but you get that slow bit of it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, I was watching. I think it was when I was thinking about The War Is Not Enough recently. I actually went and watched the trailer for that when it came out. I just picked a random film basically, and it was that one, just to see its trailer again. I really want them to go. Do you know what? The 90s Pierce Brosnan trailers and sort of promotional materials were so good. They were so good, and it had that 90s Hollywood vibe to it. I don't think it's going to be anything like that anymore, but I want them to do something like there's only one man and the clock stops at 007 on the timer and he shoots out the letters and I'd love if they did
Charmed,
that again.
Yeah. But very quick, very like flashes and stuff.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Bond is back.
Yes. I want Bond is back on the trailer. I really do. It would please me.
Yeah, I'm down.
Anyway, in terms of movie stuff, that's about it. Did you want to wrap up with a little bit about the game, First Light?
Yeah, let's talk about First Light for a little bit. So I guess the last time we talked about it was the gameplay trailer, which is probably the biggest thing that happened with that game. But there has been a few little bits of information, not much, but like a few bits. I think there's like basically like, you know, they announced it earlier this year, right? And then the gameplay trailer was them kind of deep diving on it. And now the full marketing thing is in motion, where we haven't had any new... Oh, I think we have had a new trailer, actually. I'm not too sure. But it's been like smaller stuff, right? We probably announced the release date a bit too early, so we've got to keep this machine going for an extra few load of months by like drip feeding a bit of information. So I think a couple months ago, we got something like, here's the car. It's like, right. Cool.
What was that?
That was it. It was like,
I must have missed that then. I've not really been keeping up with much of these little...
It was like a very small bit of news. That's what it's really been, right? Just like these little small bits of news. But then we have got, and I've forgotten the name, and I should have written it down. We do have who's playing the villain.
Oh, yes.
In the film?
Yes, from the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the name wrong. Lenny Kravitz?
Lenny Kravitz, that's it.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm meant to do with that information.
I don't think anyone really knew how to respond to that. I mean, just a bit of background. This was announced at the Game Awards. Lenny Kravitz came out on stage and looking super cool as he always does with his sunglasses and cool clothes. And he was like, I'm going to be... And they gave his name as well. It's like Mabem or something like that. And they gave a very short clip with him in it in the game. And I don't know, maybe it's just the impression I got from the live stream feed of this awards show, but it was just like, okay. and then he left the stage.
Cool.
And I think even outside of the in-room applause and reaction, I have to imagine that most people would respond like that. I mean, who's going, oh my God, it's Lenny Kravitz in a game. I've always wanted this.
Finally, the forums are going to go crazy. They've been asking this for years.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's fine, whatever. But it's just, I think it was presented in a much grander way than it actually was.
Yeah, I like it as like a fun thing, right? Like villains are meant to be fun and silly, and this feels kind of like that. So it does make a bit of sense. I kind of like it from that angle, like especially because like in Everything or Nothing, we got Willem Dafoe, right? Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's silly. That makes a lot of sense as well. So I don't really mind that, but I do find it strange that like they're getting a more famous person to play the villain than they have for the person playing Bond. That feels like a very odd... Like I recognize the villain more than I recognize Bond in a Bond game. And that feels like this didn't feel like the one to do it in. Because again, there's this weird thing, and I think we talked about it before, about just like it's establishing a new Bond, but they are almost treating it as he is established by the way they're building everything around him. And you have to kind of be all in on this being James Bond already for this stuff to make sense, where I feel like this game is meant to be introducing that. So this just seems like, again, I like it from the like it's a bit fun and silly and it's something a bit different, and I like getting the like a famous person in the Bond game, but I shouldn't recognize the villain more. And I think again, it's running before they can walk a little bit. So again, not a big deal, but maybe something that again just kind of implies that the direction of this game is a little bit strange or misaligned in some ways.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it does kind of. I don't know how much he's going to be in the game, obviously, but it does feel a little bit kind of overshadowing. This would have been the perfect opportunity for a villain like, oh God, what's his name? I forgot what the villain's name is from Quantum of Solace.
Oh, the
little sad one, Green. little pathetic Green that we spoke about.
Dominic
quite a lot.
Green.
Yeah, it kind of needed to be someone like that, where it's kind of a little bit meh. Like it's a good evil guy, but not. I don't know. You're fine. Did the job, but yeah, you want to focus on Bond, or maybe if they're going to have some celebrity in it to sort of carry it a bit more, maybe have that as M or someone. I don't know, someone a bit more integrated into the Bond franchise would have been quite cool.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think that would have worked a bit better. So again, it's not really that bad, unless this is meant to be like, because they keep talking about this as a trilogy, right? Maybe Lenny Kravitz comes back for the next one. You remember me? Maybe he's like the Blofeld of the First Light universe.
Maybe some DLC can be a stainless steel delicatessen. And
just writes itself, doesn't it?
I know, it really does. It really does. On that note, have you pre-ordered any edition?
Wow, Joe. Oh. I was thinking about this last week and having an absolute nightmare.
Oh dear.
Because as you know, there's 3 different editions and none of them are good. It is where I'm landing. I normally would have pre-ordered this stuff already, but all of them have downsides, which is like, ugh. And I won't go. I'll go over them briefly. Right, you've got the digital edition, which has got early access, but you don't have a physical copy. That's very silly. I want a copy of First Light to go alongside my copy of Nightfire and GoldenEye or whatever, right? You want it for the collection.
Yeah.
The second one is then the Amazon exclusive physical edition, which you get the classic tuxedo with that one, but the box is ugly and I don't like it. They made it look all silver when that's not what the key art looks like. They've added this banner. It just looks very cheap, looks very gross. You get the classic tux, you get your physical edition, but I don't want what looks like an unofficial Photoshop of the proper key art on my shelf. Get it in the bin. I don't want it. You then had like the big, I can't remember what it's called, the big collector's edition one. I think it had a different name. And that's the one with the golden gun, which we covered last time. I don't want the golden gun. It turns out, if you go in the 007 store, you can get a replica of the golden gun for £90. And then you can buy the game separately for like 60, which is cheaper than the edition that they're selling.
Yep.
So it was like, waste of time, get it in the bin. There's no tuxedo with that one. Yeah, it's the most expensive one. It's like £260 or something. No tuxedo, which is just like, what are we? Oh, God. So I haven't, but as you might always also be aware, there is a new collector's edition available.
Is there?
That's halfway. Yeah. So,
is it like a proper one that has stuff with it? Items and stuff.
This to you. Kind of. It's not perfect, but I'll send it to you because I didn't know you weren't aware.
Oh, we're getting a live reaction here.
So I think this came along with the Game Awards and it went live for pre-orders today. And it's basically a halfway house between the Golden Gun Collector's Edition and like the normal physical one.
Oh.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What is that? What is that mask? It's got a mask with it.
So that's from the trailer. So that's the villain's mask.
Oh no, I'm done with masks after what's his face from No Time to Die. I like the box though.
Yeah, so to explain this to the people, so basically this is pretty much the same as the Golden Gun one, where you get a physical copy of the game, you get the steelbook, you get all the DLC nonsense, but instead of the Golden Gun, you get a mask, which is the golden mask that the villain wears in it. I actually don't mind it.
Okay.
And this is like £100 cheaper than the Golden Gun one. This is like, well, maybe a bit less actually. This is £170, I believe, which makes this a lot more reasonable because it means I can get the steelbook, which I like the look of the steelbook, and the physical copy looks a bit nicer as well, but I don't have to spend over 200 quid and get a golden gun that I could get elsewhere.
But you wouldn't have early access with this?
No, but I don't need it.
Don't need that. Fine. Oh, that's fine. Okay, then.
I've waited. I can wait another day.
It's okay. I still wouldn't. I think we talked about this before about what would you have as a collector's item for the Bond franchise, and the gun. The gun made a lot of sense, although it doesn't have anything to do with the game. So I guess this makes more sense related to the game, but to me feels less James Bondy. So I just can't be pleased, basically.
Well, I mean, I agree, but also I would prefer, like, if the game is good, and if it's good, then that will feel James Bondy.
Yeah, I guess you don't know, but it's a bit of a gamble, but it might pay off.
I think the price is right. That's the thing, right? Like, this is a cheaper version, so for me, it's like, okay, I don't really want to spend. I would rather spend less, obviously, but as a cheaper version of the collector's edition, getting an item actually related to the game, and not spending as much, and getting that really nice steelbook, that's ticking enough of the boxes. You still don't get the tuxedo though, because why would you in a James Bond game? What?
Oh no, here we go again.
It's still awful. They've still messed it up. They did a bad job in my opinion, but this one is at least a bit more sensible, I think. As long as you can get the tuxedo in some way, which best case scenario, you're paying for it. Or assuming how it's IO and they do all this really weird time stuff, it's going to be like, well, if you play on Sunday for 2 hours, then you get the tuxedo every other Tuesday. So, ugh.
And if you don't, you lose everything. They come and actually take it away from you.
Delete your save. It's like, oh, right, great, brilliant. Thanks, IO. Try and make this more complicated, please. I don't get it.
Well, I also see there that it's a life-size mask replica, so you could also wear it, Tom.
Well, that's the plan, yeah. Just Christmas, birthdays, that sort of thing.
Armed robbery.
Yeah, yes.
Tons of options there. That's actually quite... Maybe I'm coming around to it now.
Yeah.
It also looks a bit like an award.
We'll see.
So you could just pretend you've won an award.
Yeah, the Golden Mask Award for Best Podcast.
I'm so honoured to receive the Golden Mask Award.
Thank you so much. Most whiny Bond podcast goes to... Come on.
That Lenny meme. We're like, come on.
I've been there's a lot of buzz around Bond Revisited.
Okay, well, thank you for showing me that. I'm sure I won't get that still, but nice to know there is more coming out for it.
So where are you leaning then? What's your plan for getting First Light?
I'm leaning towards definitely physical. Don't need to have early access. So probably just the bog standard physical copy will be for me.
So what do you think of the box art that?
Is that the one in that picture to the left?
No.
Oh, what?
It's different.
What? Why does this have to be so complicated?
I don't know, Joe. I don't know. You can only get it from Amazon as well. It's an Amazon exclusive.
Oh, okay.
But not the collector's editions and stuff. You can get those in all different places. But the standard disc, like the standard physical version with the tuxedo, is Amazon only.
I don't know what I'm going to do then.
Okay, this is where I was at until this new version got announced. Because I was just like, I want to pre-order this, but these are all kind of bad, and I want it, but I don't know what to do. Make it easy for me. Just let me give you your money.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But no, instead it's just a mess. And this collector's edition still is not great, but it's something, so it's what I'm going to go for, but I'm not. And also, we haven't even talked about it yet. Why are they announcing a new edition at the Game Awards? Why is that happening? They already had 3. Why are we months later then be like, there's a 4th one? It's like, what if people already pre-ordered it? Then it'd be like, but would prefer that one. What are you going to do? Have to cancel, switch it around? Why is that complicated? Why is that weird?
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We're going to...
Nonsense.
We're just going to... You can keep talking, but we're just going to fade you down.
Sure. And another thing...
I don't know. Some strange decisions being made there.
It's just strange. Yeah, that is very strange. It's just like it's just strange. I'll pre-order this collector's one maybe after Christmas, because of obviously Christmas I can't really spend that money, and I just have to hope it's still around. But it's just weird, and it's
yeah. Don't worry about money, Tom. You know why? Christmas only comes once a year.
Yeah, there we go. That classic Bond line. As they always say. The award is not enough. It's been on your mind a lot.
It has. Yeah, and actually I think I saw that recently on social media because it was on ITV, and it cuts with John Cleese's cue before that scene. So makes sense. It's like midday rerun of it. But they cut out that line from the television version.
But that's literally the only reason they shot that scene.
Yeah.
There's no point of it otherwise. They're just like, cheers.
Yeah, so it just ends with John Cleese looking flustered or something, and then that's it. Credits. It's really strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yes. So that's First Light. Again, I think I don't want to complain about it too much, but my excitement is definitely going down slowly over time. I feel like the gameplay trailer, there was a lot of good stuff in there, but there were concerns as well. But I feel like that's not how the marketing's being handled at the moment. It's more just keeping the momentum going that they were supposed to get off the gameplay trailer, which to be fair, they kind of did. But all of these other details they're revealing is just not the stuff I care about. I care more about, are you actually making the fights and the action stuff make more sense? Are you fixing the car chases?
Yeah.
Like, how is this actually going to work? How are these like stealth missions actually going to work and stuff like that? And there's a lot of information out there, but they've put so much out there where it's just like, okay, I have a few red flags, which doesn't mean I think it's going to be bad, but I am not ready to just get excited over every little detail you announce, because I want a little bit more reassurance that these issues that I think might be issues, I don't know because it's not out yet and I haven't played it, but these things that might be issues, I just want to know that they kind of won't be a big deal. So over time, I get a little bit less excited, and we'll see how I feel in the new year. But at the moment, I've kind of pushed it aside a little bit because, again, it's just this weird thing where I'm just like, okay, it does look good, but are they going to fix the stuff that I hope they fix? Right, Lenny Kravitz. Okay, that's not what I meant. Right, another new collector's edition. Okay, cool.
Still not what I meant.
It's just not what I meant. Yeah, so again, they don't need to be in like damage control mode. It wasn't that bad, nowhere near. Just, I kind of have to park it until we get closer and there's like the release trailer and previews and stuff. And that's when it will start kind of kicking off again for me.
Yeah, I guess I've kind of been doing that ever since that gameplay reveal, which is probably not the best thing to do when you take part in a Bond podcast and might need to talk about some of those things. But I've completely parked it. Like those sort of snippets, are they through like social media videos and little sneak peeks and interviews and stuff?
I think it's mostly interviews. Yeah, I've been seeing it. Like another one's happened a few days ago where people from IO are just like taking interviews and speaking about it all the time. And when you read the interviews, you're like, these are really passionate people who have thought about this a ton, but it doesn't really address any of my concerns. It's like there's this whole interview about someone talking about the lighting, the very specific types of like contrast lighting they wanted to use. And just as a standalone piece, you're like, that's really interesting that they went to this degree. But it's like, I just want to play the Bond Bang Bang. Like that's really cool. But again, it's not addressing my concerns. Like, it's kind of more high level. Is this game actually going to kind of come together? But you can tell they're extremely passionate about this. Again, it just doesn't really help me. But yeah, they're doing things like that. I've seen quite a lot of interviews over the last few months.
Cool. I've not seen any of them, and I probably will continue not to. I'm just going to forget about it until March, and then I'll eventually buy it and hopefully really enjoy it. But I guess we'll see.
And the reward. We already got the most whiniest podcast, but the reward for the most laziest Bond podcast.
No. Listen, I made a Google Doc with some notes in it. Surely there's got to be some lazier ones out there.
That is nice.
Yeah. Come on, I need that.
How lazy can you get with a Bond podcast, though? We could get lazier.
Oh, for sure. There's always room to get lazier.
Right, next week we're going to review Moonraker the book. I've not read it.
I've not read it either.
So there we go. We'll review it next week. We saw the film a while ago. You saw the film on a plane recently?
Yeah.
Unedited. So I think we can review the book next week.
And you know what? I actually found someone was doing a Christmas Advent James Bond quiz of every day is a new Bond quiz about a film. So
I saw that. Was that on Reddit?
Yeah. So
did you do any of those?
I did. I've done all of them so far, and not done too well, to be honest.
What's your best score?
I think maybe 8.
Oh wow, okay, better than me.
Maybe 9.
I only did a couple, but it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service where I actually did the best somehow.
Really?
Yeah, I think we need to get more to the modern era. But when they're asking really specific details about From Russia with Love, it's like, I love that film. It's one of my favorite Bond films. But yeah, if you can ask me what's on the briefcase of this one scene in Istanbul, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, some of them. I did do. I think the one I did the best at was A View to a Kill. So that's quite telling.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I need to do that one then.
Yes, yeah. Get on it.
I'll do it right now.
See, this is lazier.
We are the laziest.
This is lazier. We just start doing quizzes. You can't even see it.
Yeah. Oh, got it. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, I got that one wrong. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, I knew Blofeld had his earlobes missing, so I feel pretty good about that.
Nice.
Thank you. Right. Well, we've done the game. We've done the film. So I guess all that's left is our predictions. I guess we should stick in terms of, I don't know, should we just stick in terms of what will happen next year?
Yes.
That seems fair, right?
What will happen next year? Okay, what will happen next year? I think, obviously, there'll be a Bond actor announced next year. There has to be.
You want to lock that in?
I'm locking that in.
Pretty good about that?
Yeah. Bond actor announcement. Are we just doing year, or are we doing any more detail than that? Quarters.
No, quarters a bit much.
All right,
no.
good.
We're the laziest Bond podcast. We're not going that far.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're going to have Bond actor.
Okay.
Nothing to do with music. Nothing to do with. I don't think
you don't think we'll get music. You don't think we'll get the composer.
Oh, maybe composer. Sorry, I was thinking about the theme song, but yeah, maybe composer.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Composer and cinematographer.
I guess they probably won't announce who's singing the theme. That seems too early. I guess you've got to do composer first, right?
Yeah. So I think we get those sort of staples. You're right. So actor, composer, cinematographer, if there's someone famous, like standout. And I would
assume it'd just be his guy, wouldn't you, with DV? He'll just pick, that's my guy.
Does he have a guy? That's what I was wondering.
I'm pretty sure he does. I would look it up, but
we're lazy. Yeah.
Lazy podcast. No, I will look that up. That seems like a good thing to check. I'm pretty sure he does.
And then
I won't be able to pronounce it. Oh, Roger A. Deakins.
Roger Deakins, because Deakins was Skyfall, Deakins. Right?
Yeah, he must. Yeah,
I think it was.
It was Skyfall, yeah. But he did Blade Runner. And then I can't pronounce it either. He didn't do the Dune films, but he has worked with DV before.
Well,
that'd be a really good choice to bring him back. He makes good films, this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I say? Films are a one-man job, so we need this guy.
Yes, definitely. Get him involved.
Once it's in, it's a good film. Lock it in.
So that's my prediction. I think he will be announced. It will be him.
Okay. I think that's a solid one.
It will be Deakins, yeah.
I think if we're going to continue with the trends, there won't be any surprises. Now, that doesn't mean, like, in terms of actor, it's going to be the most obvious choice necessarily, but it's not going to be like, I guess with Daniel Craig, it's a bit like, really? Him? James Blonde? Are you crazy? I don't think there'll be anything like that. Like, I think stuff will be announced. Maybe we don't know exactly who it's going to be, or maybe it's not the most obvious name, but I think everything's going to be that safe, makes sense choice. The logic's clearly there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would expect those type of announcements to kind of continue.
Yeah. And Joe, what else I'm going to predict?
Okay.
I'm going to predict at least one kind of clear location it's going to be set. I think they'll do some like scouting, and then there'll be some buzz about, Bond's going to be in New York for the first time, or I don't know, where is he? Yeah, somewhere around the world, some country or some area. There's going to be like, this is in the script. I think that.
Could be. I don't think I'll go that far.
Okay.
I don't think
that's
I agree
my
with you there.
my little wild card there.
It really depends how much, because I feel like Amazon has made a real effort this year to get news out there. It's gone quiet at the end of this year, but I feel like Amazon really want to get stuff out there. But it does feel like everything is just kind of moving along. But I think it makes sense that once they have the news, they will just want to put it out there. So it makes sense to me that they'll probably pick someone next year, and then they'll probably want to just get that out there of like, this is the guy. Probably no name announcement of the film, right?
Ooh.
There's probably not going to be anything like that. That's probably 2027 that we might get the name, and we might get like the trailer and stuff. But yeah, you got to think that the actual actor is announced next year.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well with a name. That whole element of Bond will return in, that's not a thing anymore. So we don't know. And a lot of people talk about the remaining Ian Fleming titles that could be used, and Property of a Lady, and
James Bond in New York.
James Bond in New York, yeah. What's the other one as well? There's like the Hillbrand Rarity or something like that. I don't think actually that's my other prediction, or that's not really related to 2026. It's not going to be a Fleming title because they're all bad. The ones that are left, basically.
Well, I guess like at this point, right? We've technically had a remake.
Yeah.
But I do wonder how much they're willing to like pull in specific elements from older films and like rework it. I don't think they would. I mean, remaking Doctor No is an option, although I don't think they would do that. But they could do that in theory, but I don't think they would. But I do wonder how much they'll just pull from older films. That could be on the table. That like a whole sequence is just very similar to an older one, but like a new version of it.
Maybe another version of Thunderball.
Yeah, finally, yeah. The third Thunderball.
The fans have been demanding it.
Sweaty Sean.
Yeah, hopefully whoever the new actor is can sweat significantly. Although, there's this whole thing I saw about, this is off topic slightly, but people, like, actors don't sweat anymore in films. No one sweats. Like, there's no clear, if you look back at films from the 70s and 80s, they're sweating. And now it's all too clean and too, like an airbrushed look of people on the big screen, and there's no real sweat involved. So maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. There's a good video about that. I think
some of that was like the cameras as well. They would get right in the face as well, right?
Yeah.
You're like, here's Rocky, so we're going to just shove the camera in Sylvester Stallone's face, and he's going to be sweating. Like, I feel like they would get right in there as well, which doesn't help.
Yeah, and if there's any beads of sweat now, they'd just get rid of them in post. Get them out of here. We don't want any ugly beads of sweat. They need to look perfect. So I hope there's a bit of sweat involved. That would be nice. That would be a pleasant surprise.
There might be more of just like the superhero fad, though. Like, you don't, like with those older films, it's supposed to be an actual person pushing themselves to their limit. With like superhero films dominating and stuff, no, it's like, it's Superman. Why would he sweat?
Yeah. Ugh. I guess we'll see. Anyway, how about you? What are your predictions then?
I think that's about it, to be honest with you. I feel like it is going to be a quieter year. And I kind of pretty much align with yourself. I just, it feels like until old DV is all in on this, not much can really move forward. But we'll probably get some side project thing, I would imagine.
Oh, so
I don't know what that's going to be.
Non-film related, but something in the Bond franchise still.
Just something else. Amazon has had this property for a little bit now. Well, they've had it for a while. They took creative control earlier this year. I know we got Road to Million. So maybe Road to Million season 3?
Have you watched season 2?
Yeah. They've done season 2, didn't they?
Yeah, but have you watched it?
No.
Okay, then.
The laziest podcast. Too lazy for that.
Yeah, if you'd have said yes, they would be taking away your award right now.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, whoa, a bit of a super fan here.
No one's watched it.
So next week we'll do the Book of Moonraker. The week afterwards we'll do season 2 of Road to Million, even though we've not done season 1 and we've not seen it. So look forward to that content for sure.
2027 prediction, Brian Cox should be the proper villain now and not just misled into thinking he was going to be the villain and it was actually just a TV show. Give that man the real deal. He's a good actor.
Maybe they integrate it where they it's the same person.
Yeah.
And it's like an Elliot Carver where it's just a medium Mongol sort of thing.
Delicious. Yes, I like it.
I was making like a spy TV reality show and now I'm going to kill James Bond. Haha. That sort of thing.
Okay, remember to do this in the next year's prediction video.
Yeah, right, here's my prediction. You know Road to Million? It's all been the groundwork of Bond 26.
I actually think also, I mean, on a slightly more serious note, what you're saying about other Bond things apart from the film, if the 4K Blu-ray box set, are they going to continue with that? Are they going to do the Roger Moore films? That would be quite nice.
Yeah, they'll do something. Yeah, again, it feels like the machine's in motion. They're going to keep releasing stuff. Again, people talked a lot about the Moneypenny spin-off and that sort of thing. I don't think that will happen, at least not yet. We'll need to see until the film comes out. But again, there's a lot you can do with the license and the franchise. They want to build up hype. They want to get stuff going. So whatever they can get out, by the time we get to 2026, they would have had enough time to, start doing stuff. So whether that is a side TV show or, I don't know, books or something, whatever, like some sort of extra thing, I think we'll get more next year than we did this year because there's no way Amazon will want to sit on that. They want to kind of keep pushing this stuff. And they're really weird about the films, right? They don't put the films on Prime all the time.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Yeah,
that's just complete nonsense. But they still clearly care about Bond and want to push Bond, which is why they're doing this really weird strategy with sometimes releasing them, sometimes not. So I think we'll get something. I think we'll get more extra side content for Bond next year as part of like hyping up Bond for the year after.
Well, that sounds lovely. I can't wait.
Yes. So I guess one last prediction here, because again, I don't want to get too more into Bond 26 just because I don't think it's not coming out next year, is it? But James Bond or 007 First Light Metacritic prediction.
Ooh.
Out of 100. I can read you some recent examples of games.
Oh yeah,
what they got.
Yeah. Let me benchmark a bit.
We go. Okay, Metacritic games. Oh, what Dogpile? What's Dogpile? That's just one of the first games that came up when I checked. Oh, this website is awful. What are we doing? No, I don't want. Is there any games you would want me to check?
What did Donkey Kong Bonanza get?
Okay.
That's one I know of, like a recent game.
Donkey Kong. Okay, so that got a 91.
I got a 91. What about something like, what am I playing at the moment? I'm playing Split Fiction at the moment.
Are you really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's quite a fun game.
That got a 91.
Wow, okay, all right. From what I've already seen so far...
So I can tell you, Metroid Prime 4, that got a 79, just to balance this out a little bit.
I think, and I hate to say this, because I would still enjoy it either way, because I'm easily entertained, but I think it might get something like a 65.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
I'm going lower.
So I was just looking up Hitman. Oh, this game's a mess. What are we doing? Hitman 3 got an 87.
Oh, okay. Well, you'd have to hope it will at least be as good as that.
Then Hitman 2 got an 82. So
okay.
This is like the new trilogy.
I'm bumping mine up again. Hang on. Let's go 80 bang on.
Okay. I think that's a solid guess.
Yeah.
I think broadly speaking, the production values and the base level of just like playability is going to be good enough that it can't dip too low. Like, this is not coming out and getting like a 70.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too polished. It's too AAA. It's just games like that don't go that low. Like Metroid Prime 4 going that low is quite shocking. 70, 79 or whatever I said. So I think you're looking 80s. I would be shocked if it hits 90 because that's really hard to do. But I think low 80s probably is the right way to go, where they're just like lots of cool ideas. There's some cool stuff in here. It's well made, but it doesn't quite take that leap. It's not as good as Hitman. It's kind of Bond. So yeah, I'm going to probably go higher than you, and I'm going to go 82, I think.
Okay.
And my personal score, probably a bit lower than that.
Well, yeah, mine will be 99.
Yeah, top it out, yeah. It'll be 07, 007.
Oh.
That's what I give it.
1007.
No, little high. But no, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Again, I think it will do review quite well. Again, I think it's got enough going for it. It's just I've got my concerns. I'll play it. I'll wear that mask, I guess, and hopefully it's a good time. But that's like the big Bond event next year, right? It's I guess it'll be that in the first half, and then you would assume in the second half, Bond actor.
Yeah,
that's not a bad year for Bond. If that's all we get, that's not bad at all.
Compared to previous years, that's plenty. That's plenty at all. Yeah. I hope you wear the mask. If you do get that collector's edition, you have to wear the mask every time you play it.
Oh god, I know. You'll go even. I will not have a good time if I do that.
What do you mean? You have to. I think it just feels right. Surely.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, don't you want to be Bond?
Yeah, I don't want to be the villain. That's why I never like people buying the mask from. I'm so bad with actors' names now. Villains' names. Who's the villain from No Time to Die? It's with his smashed mask. I didn't want that.
Did you go with S?
Saffitz.
Saffitz, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't want the mask.
No. I got the Bulldog from Spectre.
Exactly. You want Bond's things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or M's things.
Or M's, I guess. I want a Judi Dench mask. That's what you want.
I want a bobblehead Judi Dench.
That bloody thing survived.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think we can end on a good note here, though, really. I think it's a good time, despite our nitpicking and laziness, it is still a good time to be a Bond fan. It has been a very exciting year. And I think we are going into another very exciting year. And even though the wait for Bond 26 is probably still going to be a little bit painful because it's going to take so long, we are so much better off than we were a year ago. I'm not going to blame Barbara for this, all right? That's not classy.
Oh,
but,
I see how
it's nice. That is how it is. Oh, if they revealed her to be the villain, that would be very cool.
That would be the true villain of the Bond franchise.
It was me, Barbara.
The one who just sat on it for years. All right, I've got one more question to end off this episode, Tom.
Oh, okay, cool.
Briefly mentioned about Christmas earlier. It is Christmas time when we're releasing this, and I think the Bond series does have a good connotation to Christmas, at least here in the UK, where they're often shown on the ITV channels at Christmas time. And therefore, my question to you is, what would be your Bond Christmas film viewing for this year?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, most likely I won't watch one because laziest podcast and all that, yada, yada, yada. But, and it's mostly my family would not be into it. I felt like there's a few ways you can go. There's Skyfall, because it's very good and it's like the most successful, most known recent one. And I feel like Bond kind of feels, I was going to say it feels Christmassy. That's not right. But in terms of a British household at Christmas, it makes a lot of sense. And I think you could kind of go with any of them. So a Skyfall is like a very safe choice that everyone's going to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Everyone can enjoy Skyfall. So I think that's a very good choice. And then there's this one that I've been seeing recently about On Her Majesty's Secret Service because it takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
Which again, I think that's a very good choice, but that's probably a more hardcore Bond's fan choice. Right, because not everyone's going to enjoy it. They're gonna be like, "What is this? Who is that? Why is he calling himself? Oh, what's the name? Sir
Hilary Bray or something?
Bray. Yeah, Hilary Bray. Who's Hilary Bray? It's like you don't get it. Okay, like so it's kind of a bad choice. But again, I think for hardcore Bond fans, it's a great film. I very much enjoy it. I know you didn't like it as much, but it's got Christmas in it. Ticks the box. You've then got The World Is Not Enough just because Christmas Jones is in it. Not very exciting, but fine. But I think probably the one would be The Spy Who Loved Me for kind of a mix of reasons, because again, any Bond film kind of works at Christmas because you want the ones that everyone can kind of enjoy, and it's just so classic and iconic. And then of course you've got the snow ski bit, parachutes. I think that works super well. So if I had to pick one, I would probably go The Spy Who Loved Me.
Tom, I am so proud. I'm so proud. I mean, I'm exactly the same. It's got to be Spy Who Loved Me. Yeah.
Oh, nice, cool, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's just such a people pleaser. And
yeah, it's always a good time. Like the end drags a bit, but everyone can go and get a drink and some Pringles. Let them go. That's fine. Like that's totally good because you've already watched the best parts of the film. If we want to go and get an extra drink while the ship is slowly sinking, that's totally fine. We've all had a good time, so it just works very well.
Yeah. Well, there we are. So that's what we'll be doing at Christmas. Well, maybe not Tom. I'm going to try and watch Christmas Bond film this year. I think that'll be quite nice.
If it's on TV, I'll try and get it on. I'll try and do that. Knowing our luck, it'll be like License to Kill. It's like, okay, well, that's a good film, but that's probably if you want to go least Christmassy.
Yeah. Come on, Gran.
License to Kill.
Let's do some head popping action with Bond.
No, he's fine, Gran. He didn't. He'll be
survived.
fine.
He survived afterwards.
Yeah, his leg will grow back. His head will grow back. It'll all grow back. It's either that or Thunderball for least Christmassy, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
One of those two.
At least you could watch it in 4K, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh. How it's supposed to be viewed. Mm-hmm. Christmas. Little Christmas present for myself. Let me order those.